What would you say if I told you that the key to success in business is to ignore your competition? I know what you'd say. You'd say, John, you're nuts. You're crazy. Are you? What? Well, tell me, was Steve Jobs crazy? Was he nuts? Steve Jobs used to say that he paid next to no attention at all to Microsoft. He really didn't care what they were doing. What he cared about was the experience his customers would have. What do they want? What do they really want? And what would they want if they knew it was available? That was the Steve Jobs approach to how he did business. And he changed an entire industry. He changed a couple of industries, all because he focused not on his competition and the fact that their phone could make phone calls and would drop no more than his would. He focused on how it looked, how it felt, how it smelled, the experience that his customers had. That made him first in so much. I once had the opportunity to work for a guy who has changed your life, and you've probably never heard of him. His name, there he is. His name is Dr. Shelly Harrison. Shelly was a physicist working for Bell Labs, a company that was set up just to invent things. They came up with a few major developments, like, well, you know, the transistor. Shelly thought to himself, there is a better way to track devices, to track experiences, to track people, to track bills, to track the cans of beans on the store shelf. There's got to be a better way. And he came up with this thing called the barcode reader. And he went to the labs and he said, I've got this device that does all these things. And they said, So, nobody's asking for that. Nobody cares about that. There's a big sticker industry out there putting price on beans, on cans of beans. We don't need that. The address label on your mail works just fine. We don't need that. We don't need that. Nobody else is doing it. Shelly quit his job, just walked out. And for the next 3 years, he went around the world talking to people about this new idea called the barcode reader, and how it could change your life, how it could change your experience. Nobody wanted to do it. It took 3 years. Why? Because nobody was doing it. Finally, he found somebody, and they started. And we all know now, the barcode reader is everywhere. It's everything. As you can imagine, Shelly made a lot of money. And he now uses that money as an entrepreneur. He invests in things. And I had the great good fortune to work for him for a short while. And working for him was like drinking from a fire hose about how to do business. And one of the key lessons that he taught me, and I will never forget this, he said, John, business is very conservative and they're very risk averse, and nobody wants to go first. Nobody wants to be first. And then once somebody is, everybody wants to be first. Steve Jobs, Shelly Harrison, those are people that had a vision and they followed it based on their customer experience and how it would be to work with them and their product. They changed the world by how they went about it, by having a vision. That's why we call them visionaries. Don't be afraid to be first. Don't be afraid to have a vision. Follow it. It can take you everywhere.